Happy Friday and happy Friday evening, flock. Welcome inside the channel. Tonight's live stream is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. I'm Bobby Trosset. And as always, this is where I bring you Baltimore sports and beyond. A quick little power nap, a cat nap, really, that was stopped short due to a couple different things, including Tilly, who was wailing at the window for whatever reason. And I've got my brother, not my brother, maybe my future brother-in-law, my sister, and my mother all staying with me for a wedding weekend. And then I woke up to some Kyle Hamilton news. I saw an epic rant from Colin Cowherd. I saw some good stuff from Mina Kimes in terms of what she's concerned about related to the Ravens. I saw that Yannick Ngakoue is no longer a Raven. And I thought, let me pop on here. Because on top of all those things, Diontae Johnson put up a strange tweet, since deleted, that was somewhat cryptic and left it up to interpretation in terms of what the heck he was talking about. So with all that in mind, let's do it. Primary Residential Mortgage is the sponsor. You can call into the show if you're interested by clicking on the link that I have included as a pinned comment in the live chat. As always, like the video for me, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I'm dropping my daily live content. We'll begin with this related to Kyle Hamilton, which of course was sort of the takeaway, aside from the win, aside from the heroics of Lamar Jackson, aside from just the instant classic that last night was. And before we do get to Kyle, perhaps this was one of the reasons why, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com, the locker room was more somber than you would expect after a heated divisional win. People with the team could sense it. Pass defense owned bad play. Wasn't exactly a celebration. He goes on to say that can be a good thing long term. Well, guess what? That's something that we've become all accustomed to observing and witnessing over the course of the last month plus. And I thought Marlon Humphrey, as you may have already seen, took a stand and had something to say about it. It's not fun winning games this way when you're operating as the 32nd ranked pass defense and allowing Jamar Chase to go well over 400 yards in 2 games against you this year. Here's Marlon.
He's just different. It's not even so much about the rowdy runs, whatever. It's just when he gets the ball in his hands, if you don't tackle him soon, it can get really ugly. So he's just he's a good player. You never really can count the Bengals out when he's on their team. And I think he had like 200, like over 250, which is rough, man. That's it's getting, his wins are getting harder to enjoy based off what we're doing in the pass defense. I feel like when I was a rookie, first-year guy, second-year guy, the vets I looked up to, the standard that was there. In the pass defense, we've really lost that standard, and, I feel like that falls on me. And, we're going to keep chasing at it. We're going to keep working at it because I'm not really satisfied with what I've built in the secondary, where it's gone. I just don't think playing like this we can go far. And it's cool we're winning. It's great we're winning, but I want to go far. I want to go to the end. And what we're playing, I can't. Something's got to change. We just got to play better. I got to play better. We all got to play better. We got to play as a unit, and we're just not doing that. So it's really nothing really more to say. We got to keep working. We got to take the practice to the game. Had a great practice week. What is missing there from how we're practicing to how we're playing in the game? It's become clear that it's something I think each guy has got to look at themselves in the mirror to figure out, why are you not playing how you practice something? The practice is route concept. The game, you don't do it how you practice. So it's becoming more of a mental thing, I think. But we got to get that fixed. It's not cool to win a game and you look up and the team has 300 passing every week, and it'd be different if we didn't have no guys that could play. I haven't once heard anybody say we don't have the guys, we don't have the players, we don't have the skill. We're not doing it in practice. It's clear that it's something from when we do that last preparation to the game, what is happening in that span, and we got to figure it out. So that's it's pretty simple.
Refreshing stuff there from Marlon post game. The Ravens gave up 470 total yards to Cincinnati, 421 through the air, 49 on the ground, as you kind of expected the game to play out that way, being that Zach Moss wasn't even available from a running back perspective for Cincinnati. And you knew that Burrow was willing to toss that thing around 50 plus times, as John Gruden predicted he would. He goes 34 for 56, 428 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Marlin also referred to this defense as, quote, the little brothers of the team. And as Jeff noted, yeah, that's quite a statement from one of the leaders of a struggling unit. And it has been a struggling unit. And there are specific plays that stick with you from Thursday night. And Marlin's telling it like it is. These wins are getting harder to enjoy based off what we're doing in the pass defense. When I was a rookie, a first-year guy, second-year guy, that's how I looked up to the standard that was there. In the pass defense, we've really lost that standard. And he took accountability, even though he really doesn't need to. We're going to keep chasing it. We're going to keep working at it because I'm not really satisfied with what I've built in the secondary, where it's gone. I just don't think playing like this, we can go far. And the question becomes, coming off yesterday, how far can they go without Kyle Hamilton? We're going to get to the breaking news that Ian Rappaport revealed about his injury in just a second. But not only were they gashed, not only were there busted coverages, missed assignments, but dare I say, some questionable effort from time to time. And I think 32 found himself in that category. Marcus Williams, what angle are you taking here on this 67-yard catch and run where Jamar Chase dices the secondary? This is our Darius Washington's assignment, by the way. He blows up Roquan and Trenton, who have really struggled in underneath pass coverage concepts. And Marcus takes a brutal angle here and pays the price. You're supposed to be the center field protector. You're supposed to be the last line of defense. And oftentimes, Marcus can be caught roaming, going rogue in a sense. You can't get away with that. Some players can. Marcus isn't one of them, at least not in this defense. At least not at this point in his Ravens career. This is very similar to the screenshot that we showed last week when Zay Flowers did something similar to like 5 or 6 Broncos defenders. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 players at least in the vicinity. If you want to call Arthur Maulette outside the vicinity, call it 5. 5 players with 1 blocking receiver, and Jamar Chase does the rest. So it's inexcusable stuff right here. And make no mistake about it, when Kyle Hamilton went down, things got worse. It magnified some of the vulnerabilities in the middle part of that defense. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network noting that Kyle's ankle and tests on his ankle came out as positive as could be hoped. So it's a good thing, not the positive x-ray results that would be a setback. John Harbaugh referred to this injury as a sprained ankle. It was a non-contact ankle sprain and a good solid twist. Kyle could barely put any power on that right ankle walking off the field. Got help from trainers. Did not return to the game. And then, of course, in the second half was seen in street clothes with the boot on that right foot. The twist it looked to be super painful, and he was having one of those Kyle Hamilton impact games that we've grown accustomed to seeing over his 3 years in Baltimore. He will reset the market for safeties, by the way, probably next year. And even having not even played the second half, Kyle's final stat line, 4 tackles, 2 of which were solo, 2 pass deflections. You know he's asked to do so much from an alignment standpoint. But that's some fantastic news. You thought that Kyle Hamilton, the Ravens defense without number 14, or I should say with Kyle Hamilton, this Ravens defense is subpar, or you're probably going to figure out what it's like without Kyle Hamilton, maybe for multiple weeks. We'll learn more about a timeline, I'm sure, when John Harbaugh speaks with reporters on Monday, as he's scheduled to do. But as he mentioned last night, and as Ian Rappaport noted here, it sure looks like 14 avoided a significant injury. And hopefully that means it'll be an insignificant amount of time. That said, any time that Kyle misses could be significant for this Ravens defense because of how sizable of an impact he makes, the versatility, the havoc that he wreaks up at the line of scrimmage, what he does in space, the effective blitzer that he is, hard-hitting, physical presence for the Ravens defense, old school in every way. That's the latest on Kyle. You got some super chats flying in. Deshaun Davis says, if you allow the holding call on Bengals 88, that's Mike Gesicki, you can clearly see he was trying to force a penalty and completely flopped. Talking about some officiating things here, I believe, from Thursday night. Bro wasn't even paying attention to him. It's sad, honestly. Tongsley, look up NFL face mask rules. You must hold and control the face mask. It doesn't say if you touch the face mask or graze the face mask. Are you referring to the 2-point conversion when Burrow got smacked in the face? Tongsley also says you could tell watching the postgame Harbaugh's speech was muted and the players were also subdued. Thank you guys for the super chat donations. Thanks to all 400 plus of you for joining me concurrently here tonight, just after 6 o'clock. Hope you guys got your cat naps in. Maybe you're already drinking. Maybe you're watching. Is there college football on tonight? I'm clueless as to what's happening. I woke up and I just immediately went over to the command center here and started prepping for this. Remind me to never, I have to get rid of these Ghost energy drinks. They're horrible. They make me feel horrible. But just in case you're just tuning in, Jeremy Fowler from ESPN.com, as I covered in the first slide, noted that the postgame locker room for the Ravens last night was more somber. He used the word somber. More somber than you'd expect with a heated divisional win. People with the team could sense it. The pass defense owned the bad play. It was not exactly a celebration. If anything, it's become something that they're used to, not celebrating and being embarrassed. Bosef checking in with a $2 super chat. Hey, Bobby, hope you get some rest. My hope is that as well. It's a wedding weekend, though, around these parts, so good Lord. Who knows what this is gonna bring? Maybe I should blame it. Should I blame it on Richard for making me? Richard, cigar smoking, pregame live streaming, Jello shots, Madison. I got a lot of distractions going on right here these days. All in good fun. You guys are hysterical. How about Edgar from Mexico City from joining me spontaneously on the pregame show yesterday? Flew up from Mexico alone to go to this first Ravens game and came on my show. Freaking awesome. That was fantastic. Tonight's live stream, guys, as always, is brought to you by my friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. They got their Photoshop skills working this November. How do I look? Here's what they have going on for you. And as the holiday season quickly approaches, you may be looking for a way to access extra cash for gifts and celebrations. If that's the case, I got a solution for you. PRMI's Cash Out Refinance lets you tap into your home equities. Their PRMI Cash Out Refinance, okay? It lets you tap into your home's equity to access the funds you need for your holiday shopping and festivities. On top of that, they're willing to cover your closing costs up to $750 for applications that are submitted by February 9th of 2025. You can take advantage of this offer as a Bobby Baltimore subscriber by applying through the PRMI Mid-Atlantic website. There's a link that's included in the top of my show notes. Mention my name as you go throughout the process so that you can redeem this offer and make your holiday season even brighter. Thank you to Primary Residential Mortgage for the support. And as always, guys, to be quite honest with you, even if you're not interested, goes a long way if you just simply click on that link, check out the site for a second, and help me out there. Next up on the docket is something that kind of strange. Yannick Ngakoue was brought into Baltimore just a few weeks back for a second stint after beginning the season on the couch. And then the Ravens released him to make room for Keaton Mitchell, of course, who made his season debut after the knee injury in December of last year. Very light work for Keaton. Of course, he's going to get ramped back up. So essentially, the Ravens were like, all right, well, we're going to release Yannick, which means he's heading for the waiver wire. We'll re-sign him to the practice squad if he doesn't get picked up and if he clears waivers. But, guys, it's the second half of the season. I'm not saying Yannick is some impact pass rusher, but he's a serviceable one. And teams, you bet your ass they're going to be willing to scoop up a flyer on number 91. I never expected him to clear waivers, not this time of year. It's rare that a pass rusher with his background, even though he struggled with injuries and consistency in recent years, it's rare that somebody like that's going to go unclaimed. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what the Patriots took advantage of. New England claimed Yannick. It was a short second stint in Baltimore, and as Tom Pelissero of NFL Network notes, before the trade deadline, the Ravens could have released Yannick from the 53-man and immediately signed him to the practice squad because he's a vested veteran. After the trade deadline, all players are subject to waivers, and the Patriots plucked him instead. What does that tell me? Ravens were totally fine to let this guy walk out of the building. You don't get the sense that the first stint worked out very well between 91 and Baltimore when Wink Martindale was the Ravens defensive coordinator. And I'm not saying that anything went awry this time around because I'd be speaking out of turn. But what I am saying is I think it's pretty clear the Ravens were more than happy to let him walk, even though they would have been more than happy to have him on their practice squad. It wasn't a necessity. And so as Tom mentions, they opted to just let him test out the waiver wire. New England plucked him. Second stint in Baltimore no longer. And even though they're coming off probably their best performance of the entire season as a pass rush group collectively, hasn't exactly been a dominant group. The 22nd ranked pass rush win rate unit entering this past weekend. We'll get to the numbers in just a second because they were stellar. And Joe Burrow was under duress throughout the entire evening. A classic in-division AFC North matchup. But this was peculiar. The monetary side of things, just so that you're aware of this as well, as Brian McFarland educated us on. Remember, Yannick was not on the roster week one, so he's not entitled to full season termination pay, which is fully guaranteed vet salary for somebody with his service time. He is entitled to in-season term pay, which is 35% of the scheduled salary. But since he's already been on the roster for 4 weeks, it means only an additional $10,944 added to the cap. That was on November 7th. Now, here's the other part, as Brian notes. If Ngakoue is claimed on waivers, which he has now been by the New England Patriots, the new team acquires his contract, and there will be no termination pay charged to the Ravens. So they're scot-free. No worries here whatsoever on the monetary side of things. But this is a unit that's been lacking consistency. But goodness gracious, did they get it last night? Perhaps they heard the noise. Perhaps they heard the criticism that was coming from every which way off an underwhelming trade deadline. The Ravens defense recorded 40 pressures against Cincinnati and Joe Burrow last night. That's tied for the most in a game this season. Consider this: 40 pressures. Joe Burrow passed the ball 56 times. This dude was under duress, and it was coming in bunches, and it was coming collectively from this group up front. Nnamdi Madubuike with a career game, the trifecta, and a breakout game that's been highly anticipatory. Madubuike had 5 tackles, 3 of which were solo, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. He was a game wrecker, as he was paid to be this offseason. Kyle Hamilton, as I mentioned, had a couple pass deflections. Ardarius Washington had a couple pass deflections. Kyle Van Noy had a quarterback hit. Odafe Oweh, and I really didn't mean for this to come across as condescending in game yesterday when I tweeted it, but Odafe Oweh had 4 quarterback hits, not 1 sack. It's like 99 does everything but sack the quarterback. He's been around the league for several years, and they invested in him with that 5th-year option being exercised this offseason. And while he has a never-ending motor and he's relentless and he's an athletic freak and he's got great closing speed, from a sacking standpoint, this is what you get at this point. Roquan Smith had a quarterback hit. Again, it's never been an issue with him from a physicality standpoint up against the run. That underneath pass coverage, though, continues to be a problem for him and Trenton Simpson in the middle part of that Ravens defense. Joe Burrow had all kinds of check down opportunities, little dump offs. Led to a ton of offense for them. Over 400 yards of offense. And again, just 49 of those came on the ground. Jamar Chase had 11 receptions for 264 yards. But they got to Burrow early, and they got to Burrow often. And boy, did they get away with a couple physical blows, including Marlon Humphrey, with a textbook late hit on Joe Burrow that went uncalled. One of the few things I think we can all agree that went uncalled. Am I right? The flag happiest officiating crew for a reason, averaging over 16 penalties per game and well over 140 yards negated. They stuck to the script last night, that's for sure. As for MV3, and we'll get to the guest lines in just a bit. If you're holding, I see you. We'll open them up to get your Friday night thoughts. But how about this? The head-to-head matchups when it comes to elite quarterbacks is so often studied in this league, even though it's always an indirect matchup, right? But when Burrow and Lamar face off, there's going to be plenty of discussion. But what's not up for debate is that Lamar owns this head-to-head matchup. He is now 6-1. That's what he improved to last night in head-to-head matchups with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. The guy has been absolutely tremendous, and through 10 weeks, dare I say you could put a wrap? It's a wrap. Maybe, just maybe, it's a wrap on this MVP discussion. Look at what he did through 16 games in MV2 last year. 24 touchdowns. He's got 24 tutties through 10 games this year. We're not even into December football yet, folks. And maybe, just maybe, he's been best and most elite when trailing in games this season. No picks, 11 touchdowns, over 270 rushing yards, over 1,000 passing yards, and an adjusted completion percentage of 78.3. Guys, we're witnessing something special here. I know I sound like a broken record, but I will continue to reiterate that. This is special stuff. And it's got Colin Cowherd, Fox Radio, Fox Sports personality, who was once down on Lamar, and has since for years running been all in on Lamar, speaking like this when it comes to what he's witnessing and what we all have had a front row seat to since Lamar came into this league 6+ years ago.
Us, when you mention the top 10 quarterbacks of all time, everybody puts Dan Marino in there. Everybody puts Dan Marino in. Never won a Super Bowl. Why does Lamar Jackson have to win a Super Bowl? That's one of the best players in the history of the league. I mean, last night, his defense is terrible. Derrick Henry didn't do much. He couldn't trust his kicker. Joe Burrow was on fire. He trailed 21-7. And he won the game. I mean, the Ravens were down 21-7, third quarter. You never thought it was over. You didn't think, oh, Lamar can't play from behind. That team needed 4 touchdowns in the last 4 drives. Boom, 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 delivered. Oh, that wasn't enough. Now they need a 2-point conversion. When they went for 2, did you ever for a second think Cincinnati would stop them? I didn't. And even though when the Bengals went for 2, I kind of thought they wouldn't make it despite the Ravens' defense being bad. Why? Because as great as Joe Burrow is, and he's great, Lamar's got more tools in his bag. A 2-point conversion with a bad defense against Lamar Jackson is like 1,000% going to happen. But I didn't trust Cincinnati, and I love Burrow. Lamar Jackson, remember when the big knock on him was, hey, he can't play from behind? This year, trailing. 11 touchdowns, no picks, and a passer rating over 120. Trailing 3 times this year. He's come back and won games trailing by 10. That was a huge knock. All he does is prove people wrong. If Dan Marino's a top 10 quarterback all time, and every list he makes it, where are his trophies? But Dan Marino was different. Probably the most seamless, effortless thrower we've ever seen. This is the greatest playmaker in the history of football at that position. I mean, he makes Michael Vick look, talented, I guess. Almost pedestrian. I mean, the kid's incredible. Lamar Jackson has become the show Mythbusters. Remember that show, Mythbusters? That's what Lamar Jackson is. The only difference is none of the myths are ever true. Okay, you still got that one where he doesn't win enough in the playoffs. Keep doubting this kid. Go ahead, keep doubting him. I mean, I watch him. This tiptoe thing down the defensive sideline. Like, what is that? I mean, if that was in high school against the high school defense, it would be insane. He's doing stuff, jump shot into the end zone. He's doing stuff nobody can do. And if you're going to say Marino's a top 10 player ever because he just threw the ball more effortlessly, then what is Lamar Jackson? I've never seen a player like that. And what really defines him beyond his great athletic ability, it would have been easy for him because in high school and college, he didn't have to be amazing in the pocket. But in the NFL, every athlete's great, even the average ones. The margins are thinner. He could have easily just said, I'm going to run around, make Pro Bowls, get rich. And no, they didn't want to do that. He wanted to be an all-time player. So he comes back with traps. He's bigger. He's thicker. And then he loses weight because he thought he got slow. And then he improves in passing. He is an excellent pocket quarterback right now. I mean, to me, I'm watching Burrow and I'm watching Lamar. They're both great from the pocket. The difference is he has so many tools in his bag that he made Burrow just look really talented. And Joe's an all-timer. So there's just, I don't even know, I don't know what defense beats him. You can figure out the answer to beat most quarterbacks, even the good ones, like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Get pressure on him. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, Cincinnati had pressure on him. Cincinnati's got one of the best rush ends. It didn't work. They needed 4 touchdowns. He delivered at the end. And oh, by the way, that wasn't enough. They needed a conversion. And I don't think outside of maybe the tush push, I've never seen a conversion I was so absolutely sure that was going to be converted with Lamar Jackson. And I don't even feel like that. I kind of feel like that with Andy Reid and Mahomes, but not to that level. There are a lot of great players in Baltimore around Lamar Jackson, but they didn't do anything. The defense was terrible. Derrick Henry, not much. They missed a PAT. They had 11 penalties. Some on offense, but 11 penalties. Just nothing like it in the world ever. And if you're going to put Marino in that top 10 without a trophy room, you got to start considering Lamar Jackson. Never seen anything like this.
Colin Cowherd with yet another epic Lamar Jackson rant. He continues to come full circle, or a 180 from where he used to stand on the Lamar Jackson experience when he first came out of Louisville. And of course, you heard the quote that he had to say, right? That's one of the best players in the history of the league. And maybe, and by the way, thank you, Alan, for the super chat donation. Appreciate all the work you do, Bobby. Saw the Ravens in London last season, hoping to get over from Scotland to the bank and your pregame show next season. Alan, I would love to see that. And hey, if you want to meet me in Scandinavia for the bye week, I'm going up to Oslo, Norway, and Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm super fired up about it. But I know that's quite far away from where you are, but looking forward to getting across the pond here in a few short weeks to break up the season a little bit, just because this is a grind of all grinds. But maybe what's most impressive about Lamar last night is this razor thin margin for error and this amount of pressure that comes with, which is what he's playing. And that's the reality that Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson have to operate within when they have a defense that's bleeding. And I thought Mina Kimes shared some good perspective on that.
With Lamar, who showed the world why he is the MVP favorite, right? He went 10 for 11 for 162 yards on third down. Perfect passer rating. That's great. What's less great is he needed every single one of those 10 completions because the margin for error on this team is so small. In the first half, most of their struggles on offense were due to the fact that they had drives derailed by penalties. And of course, they overcame that, and Lamar overcame it, as he so often does. But when I look forward to the playoffs here, going up against teams like the Bills or the Chiefs, I worry that if one of those penalties happens against, say, an illegal man downfield on RPOs, common thing with the Ravens, because the defense is so bad, they won't be able to overcome just a single penalty derailing a drive. He has to be flawless. In the second half, he was. That was enough for this week, but it is concerning going forward.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. And that was kind of the whole point of today's show, whether it was on the Vault or whether it was this morning on my channel here. It's that 7-3 is great through 10 weeks of football. You're squarely involved in the postseason picture, but this kind of defense, this incomplete defense, it's going to come back to rear its ugly head. This is not a championship caliber football team in all three phases. We haven't even mentioned special teams yet. Justin Tucker, I hate to say it, but he's become a liability. And certainly far from automatic. This team's not disciplined. That's the problem. And as Mina just referenced, that was the only thing that was getting in their way in that first half. They finished with 11 penalties, which negated 81 yards, and one of them was declined. So, yeah, that's not a going into the game. They ranked at the bottom of the league in both penalties charged and also yards given up. So it's an area they got to get better. They have to get better. Let's open up the guest lines. Get your thoughts. Over 600 of you joining me here concurrently on this Friday evening. Give me your thoughts 24 hours later, almost 24 hours later. I don't even know what day it is or what time it is. Dom, let's get you in here. Julian, Manuel, if you guys want to call in, hit that link that's included in the live chat as a pinned comment. Talk to me, Dom. What you got tonight for me?
Yo, what's up, Bobby? I got two things, but I want to point out, I mentioned right before the Browns disaster, that Travis Jones injury might have had a significant issue with our pressure. And just reading Ken Buchanan defensive notes of Week 10, with just mostly 4 rushers, we had a 47% pressure rate. So the Travis Jones getting healthy, big deal. So hopefully he can stay healthy because we need him immensely. And it's not a coincidence Namdi had 3 sacks because with Travis Jones in the lineup.
I totally agree. Travis
he's too good.
just a body mover. He's a
Yep.
people mover, gets so much push. Obviously great and stout against the run. That wasn't Cincinnati's game plan. Burrow threw it 56 times. But you could tell. They
Yeah.
were like, hey, we got to be careful with Travis the week prior. We're going to only use him in an emergency case basis. We'll dress him just in case. But because of that weight that he carries around, because of that frame, yeah, if you can't push off your ankle, good luck as a nose tackle. So one day he'll look like Big Baby does right now with Brandon Williams retiring. And I was like double taking at the screen, right?
He's going to lose so much weight when he retires because he's just too strong to keep that weight, and not he's too strong to have the weight without in football shape because you need the weight for football.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But,
he's turned into a nice development story for the Ravens out of UConn.
yes, sir.
So
quickly, Isaac Punts released a video talking about why Justin Tuck, I don't know where Justin came from, is missing kicks. And he's kind of saying he thinks it's the hold. So I'm wondering, can we put Rasheen Ali on IR and put Sam Cook back in? Just to hold punts, just to hold the kicks? Like, bring back the Wolfpack.
Yeah, you want Sam to go from consultant back to player, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything else. Just put the pads on and just catch those punts.
If it's an operational thing, they're going to keep that tight-lipped for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything, but then admittedly, I probably haven't looked, thoroughly at that operation. And Justin sure as heck wouldn't be talking about that whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, his 7th extra point in his career, first of the season. I thought for sure when that thing's kicked wide left, I'm like, that's the difference today. In a game like today with the margin for error, that I thought that no question. They got lucky. Will they get lucky down the stretch? We'll see.
I kind of felt that way, but I was like, Lamar was just in such a groove that I was like, there's no way we don't get the 2-point conversion. So I was mad, but I wasn't worried about it because I thought Lamar was going to get the 2-point conversion.
Well, it's hard not to think confidently in any regard right now with the offense. It's just a matter of, can you hang 40 plus every time? Can you hang 35 plus every time? And more often than not this year, the answer's been yes. But then you have the Clevelands and the Vegases, which are flukes in the grand scheme of things. But will those strategies, will those, average offensive performance days rear their ugly head potentially in January? Time will tell.
Yes, sir. And go ahead. Sorry.
Finish your thought, and I'm going to get to the other lines.
I want to just point out one thing with Brandon Stevens. He has clear flaws, but I think because he turned his head around on that should have been interception, was an interception. I think later on it came back to scare the Bengals. So they was like, we don't really want to risk him turning his head around again on the 2-point conversion. So they threw it to the tight ends. And when it comes to winning time, sometimes people get scared.
Look, I think that you might have to move Brandon to safety.
I am totally for putting him to safety and putting Nate Wiggins in corner.
And let's see what they have in Tre'Davious White, right?
Anything.
Guess who just took a victory lap on me right now?
Oh, Tilly?
Who?
Tilly? Yeah, is she dancing?
Oh, my dog?
Yeah.
My dog's off. Where is she? Oh, she's right underneath me. She's just chilling. No, I just got victory lapped right now via text by Derek Hamilton. He and I had a little back and forth before because he saw my prediction. And, of course, I had Cincinnati 30-28 for reasons that I felt like they were more desperate. And I thought there were some areas that they could exploit and play the game a little bit differently than the way they did in week 5. And obviously, happy to be wrong. But Derek came back around and just hit me with a W text with a check mark.
I think we need you to bet against us more so we can just win every game from here on.
Right? Now I should hit him back being like, touche, give me the timeline, the specific timeline on your son's ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
See what he says about that. I don't think he'd appreciate that one, but I might do it. Get a couple glasses of wine in me later on. We'll see.
Yes, sir. Bye, Bobby. Appreciate you.
Thanks for the call, Don. I wanted to address this before I get back to the guest lines. And thank you guys for being here tonight. Over 500 of you joining me concurrently. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all those things that help out the discoverability features here on YouTube. The newly signed Ravens wide receiver, Diontae Johnson. I can never for the life of me understand why players put themselves in positions where tweets of theirs are up for interpretation, cryptic tweets of theirs. And then when it becomes a deleted tweet, it just leads to more interpretation. And I'm not saying there's anything related to the Ravens in this tweet, but why even open up the conversation for interpretation? You're a new Raven. You've gotten a tremendous clean slate, a refresh. You've gone from the depths of hell in Carolina to a bona fide contender in a matter of days. And you go on and write, it's always two sides to a story with the, shrugging, hands in the air emoji. At the time of this screenshot, it had over 361,000 views. The mentions were turned off, so all you could do was quote tweet. Why? Why do this? Again, I don't want to make too much of it. Diontae played just 5 snaps for the Ravens. I'm sure they're in the process of ramping him up. You like the acquisition because of how cheap it is. And God forbid they were to have an injury in the wide receiver department. A group that would be looking thinner than thin then is added with Diontae Johnson. It doesn't necessarily, make it dire straits if that situation were to happen. But I'll never understand that. Maybe it is about Carolina. But why leave it up for interpretation? If you guys were betting men, Julian and Manuel, you would have put on your betting caps on this one. What the hell is it about? Carolina or current times in Baltimore? What say you, Joel? As you sip your 6:53 in the evening cup of coffee.
No, it's actually tea because of my voice. I got to talk low. Got to talk really low. I was screaming yesterday. I was at the game, so
That's right.
you got to forgive me if I'm talking like literally low right now.
That's right. You were a no-show at the tailgate. How could I forget?
I told you. Remember I told you before the game. My aunt she wanted to get there. Yeah, so. But I'll see you. I'll see you at the Eagles game. Though. Definitely, I'm going by myself.
December 1 is going to be that place is going to be lit up.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see you there. But how do I interpret that? I don't know. That's a tricky one, like you said. It could be from his time in Carolina or something he's responding to. I don't know. It could be that. I seriously doubt it's from the game last night. But then again, if I'm guessing if a press conference comes up and they ask him about it, I'm pretty sure it's probably not a big deal. But
yeah, if it was anything related to the game, and again, this is not to put on our Friday night speculation hats whatsoever, but it's a tweet that went viral. It's a tweet that obviously Ravens Nation was paying attention to. And again, when you leave it up for interpretation and you go to an NFL fan base dominated app that Twitter is, it's going to become a thing, regardless of whether you like it or not.
It always does.
If I look at the game itself, could it be the snap count? I don't know. Could it be what happened at the end of the first half when he was tackled before he could get to out of bounds, and because of the ridiculous first defensive drive, which resulted in a costly 2-timeout punishment for the Ravens, being that John Harbaugh wanted to challenge a 3-yard gain, and then 12 men on the field, you got to call a timeout. Clearly they were put in no man's land there, and even though they were out of field goal range, it just wasn't as high functioning of a less than 1 minute drive trying to get 3 points on the board before you go into half. It was a good open field tackle. They went low on Diontae and he was stuck, and they couldn't spike it in time, obviously, right? So I have no idea if it's related to that, if it's related to snap count, if it's related to usage, if it's related to Carolina. But whatever it is, it's unnecessary. And then when you delete it, it becomes even more unnecessary because it never should have went up there to begin with. And when you do delete it, it almost becomes more of a story. Manny, what say you?
I think it has to do with something else. Obviously, not the game last night. I think he was just frustrated on something, Carolina or something personal, and he just like sometimes when you're young, you do or say stupid shit. So
Yeah,
he's a veteran though. He's a veteran.
He's a vet. So I mean,
yeah, but he's what 20 what?
29,
28.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's 28.
Yeah, so yeah, he's still. Hey, I'm 34, and they still call me young. So
good.
Because
I'm 30, and I still want that label as well.
Hey, I mean, you look young, so I don't know. We got Madison. If you're watching, please tell us if Bobby looks young.
Madison is becoming a dog mom tonight. She is getting a golden doodle tonight.
Oh,
one thing that I want to. Well, there's a few things. Obviously, first of all, like Shannon Sharp said, on his podcast with Ocho, don't go crying on the last play of that 2-point conversion about the refs not calling the flags. You were up 21-7. Even after the fumble, you were up 21-14. Mm-hmm. You had the responsibility to put down the Ravens. You didn't take those chances. That 4th and 2 that they went on a go route, I thought that they were going to fake a go route and then just, Joe Burrow getting the 2 yards and extending that drive. No. Go pass, miss, turnover and downs, and we scored. So you had opportunities to actually put us down, and you didn't take it before that 2-point conversion. So don't blame it on the refs. Blame it on yourself. Yeah. Another point that I want to make, and taking from that podcast.
Which
Marcus
podcast?
Williams. Oh, the Shannon Sharp one.
Nightcap.
Oh, yeah.
The nightcap. Mm-hmm. Shannon Sharp was, and I think all Ravens fans feel the same. Marcus Williams needs to be benched again, and I would be in favor because Darius at safety, he was doing it all. He was taking Kyle's spot, even though he's not Kyle Hamilton, but at least he was giving it his all. And I don't see that same effort with Marcus.
Well, what you just reminded me about, Manny, not to cut you off here.
Yeah.
But you just reminded me of a chat that came in a little while ago when I was talking about this play right here.
Ugh.
Now, is this Marcus's worst play of the night? It's actually not.
No.
Well, he says
it's not. And this is
one play.
Yeah. And to be clear, this is our Darius Washington's assignment. And then the middle of the field gets torched. Marcus takes a tough angle. This was not the worst play of the night for him. It's when Brandon Stevens was cooked.
Yeah.
And then Marcus got turned around and honestly looked like he was just jogging after Jamar Chase.
Okay.
But that didn't stop Mr. Marco here in the live chat from telling me I don't know a lot about football. So Marco, the live chat has a little pinned comment right there. And because I'm running on 2 hours, I got some time. I'd like you to call in and expand on these comments a little bit right here. He says, you're asking what route is he taking? He's actually anticipating that Chase is about to cut back right in field. Look at the block. Marco, you trust anything Marcus is doing right now? I'm not saying you're wrong. Jamar easily could have cut back.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you take more space? There's more daylight on the right-hand side right here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Based on this screenshot. But Marco, you keep doing your thing, all right? I'll anticipate your call, and I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Keep going, gentlemen.
I would literally put Sanusi Kane or Bo Braid at Marcus' position and literally let Ardarius be the strong safety. I think for me right now, because before this game, before Kyle Hamilton's injury, I was like, why don't you take Trent out, put Hamilton there at linebacker, since he has that ungodly ability of him. Put Ardarius instead of Eddie Jackson as strong, and then put behind, because you got Kano active. Just experiment a little bit, even if it's just one play, but at least put Kano or Bo Braid back there instead of Marcus Williams, because I don't see his effort. And if we're going to see that effort to Marcus Williams, why we didn't ship him to Dallas? Because all the Dallas players are showcasing that type of effort for the season. So that's my observation. I don't know how much Lamar is going to be able to carry, because it's starting to be reflective of the 2021 season. Lamar carrying this team because of the defense, not because of injuries, but because of the lack of communication, the lack of schemes. So it's
Does
not
Marcus
the players.
think he took the right angle here? Marcus,
No.
do you think this is the right angle right here?
Hell no, absolutely not.
You don't bite on the.
Marco, was this good effort right here from 32? I need some help on this one.
And I was there. I saw it. I was at the game. Like he took a poor angle, and like you're supposed to stay back. Like you should not ever let him get past you. You got to keep your eyes on him. I think he was looking at the quarterback and then looking at him at the same time. Like Marcus Williams right now is starting to remind me of when he was in Minnesota. Well, not Minnesota. With the Saints when he had a little bit of problems there his first year, and it started to rear its ugly head now. Now it felt like he did improve when he first, like I say, when he was with the Saints a little bit, he started to improve a little bit, but then now it's starting to like get back to that point where he's just being terrible all over again. So I think it's way time to bench him and just leave him on the bench and just bring him up unless you got an injury. Just let the young guys go at it and see how they do, because I can't take another Marcus Williams a bad highlight. Just can't do it.
Well, here's the deal. This is a group that had 40 pressures last night up front. They answered the call. They heard the criticisms. I see what you're saying, Wiz. 56 throws, 56 tosses for Joe Burrow, 40 pressures. That was a dominant number. Justin Madubuike had a career night, the trifecta in sacks, but it still doesn't take away from the lack of trust that I think this entire fan base has for the second and third level of this defense. And when you look back at 2019, who was the savior in season? Marcus Peters. When you look back at the 2022 season, who was the in-season savior? Roquan Smith. And when you look back at just a few weeks ago, who was brought in to be this year's in-season savior? Not from a personnel standpoint, but an experience standpoint, Dean Pease. Tre'Davious White is not going to be an in-season savior. If he is, well, I'll happily eat crow. He could be a complimentary piece for you, but the reality is nobody's coming in to bail this team out. And so you're going to have to dig deep, give your rookies a chance at this point, whether it be Bo Braid and or Sanusi Kane in small sample sizes, get them and work them in a rotation. Both are highly physical, highly quick, and seem to have good instincts as young players. Mostly, they've been handling special teams reps when they've been active so far this year. Because at this point, you didn't make your big splash. You made two savvy, cheap, team-friendly type moves that were low risk to medium reward last week. But there was nothing that's going to be needle moving. So it's not like somebody's coming from out of the sky, dropping down into the bank. I'm here to save the season. That's not happening.
Jesus.
Well, they need Jesus.
They need some type of prayer. They need something. Something needs to change. I think I don't know what is. I mean, I don't know what is it going to take, because we keep saying and preaching the same things about it. Is like we're trying to make up so many scenarios of what can they do to improve. But at the end of the day, like I said in the super chat earlier, Bobby, you know what I said in the super chat. They have to do it themselves. They're the players. They're out there on the field. They are professionals in their own right. They have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
You could say, oh, the coach is the secondary coach, the linebacker coach, or Zach Orr himself. Like, okay, they can coach these guys, but these guys have to, like Marlon Humphrey said, the preparation you put out on the practice field has to transition onto the field itself.
Yep.
So whatever they're
I want to
doing
get
on the field,
I want to get Wes in here just to. Oop, that was Justin. He came early. Hold on a second. I want to get Wes involved in here, just because we got a bunch of guys in the live chat. I want to make sure that. What's up, Wes? How you doing, dude?
What's up? I'm just cooking, killing time.
You got a little bevy, little bevy crack tonight. What you got?
Yeah. Get some salmon ready. Got to get that protein in.
Friday night salmon. Okay. Is there a missus around? Or are we just chilling? Is it a West bachelor pad? What are we doing?
This is a bachelor pad. This is a Ravens bachelor man cave house.
there you go.
There you go.
Hell
there
yeah.
you go.
I thought I was living in one until I realized, wait a second, I've been relegated to my command center here where I do have a futon. My mom is staying with me. My sister is here and her boyfriend is here. So it's not looking or sounding or feeling like a bachelor pad, but that's okay for a few days.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's all
What
right.
you got going on tonight, dude? Hey, Manny and Jewel, I'm going to let you guys go because the live chat is cooking up. I appreciate you guys. All right, we'll catch up soon.
Oh, just one last point, Bobby. My dark horse shined last night.
Oh, here we go. He wants to talk Thailand, Jewel. There he goes. He wants to talk Thailand.
Hey,
oh boy,
he showcased his ability. I would put him instead of Nelly just because he's younger and he looks hungry to prove himself for another contract.
Yeah,
right,
I think
your dark horse boy.
I
Appreciate
agree
you
with
guys. Tylan Wallace, a career night for Mr. Tylan Wallace. How did the hell did he stay in bounds? Wes, what you got for me tonight, brother? Good to see you.
Well, good thing he brought up Tylan, man. Tylan makes the most out of every opportunity he's on the field. I don't know if whenever he gets snap counts, he's either returning touchdowns or making first down catches. So he definitely needs some more touches. Y'all been talking about the defense as we have all year, and we got to make a personnel change because Brandon Stevens is getting cooked every freaking game. Him and Marcus Williams, the left side of that defense is just wide open. Whatever anybody wants to do, whether they're playing man coverage, whether they're playing zone coverage. If they're playing man, they're playing 20 yards off the ball, and they're just getting these hook routes, and Brandon can't tackle. If they're playing zone, Marcus doesn't know whether he's in the deep third or playing underneath. Something needs to change there, either schematically or personnel. Nate Wiggins, anytime he was on Jamar Chase, seemed to be playing pretty well. So I don't know why we're not playing him and Marlon on the outside and rotating the guys on the inside and then making some sort of rotation at safety. Eddie Jackson is, as we saw in Cleveland, is just not it. And Marcus doesn't seem, I don't know if he's kind of dejected like how Bateman was last year, he makes mistakes and then he's getting down. I don't know if it's one of those situations or if it's a communication thing with the scheme. Something's got to change with the coaching staff. They seem to be stubborn with leaving guys in a little too long. They just need more of a rotation. Try some guys out because right now, you can't get any worse.
Well, I think for starters, you can try Brandon Stevens, especially with Tre'Davious coming onto the scene here, assuming that he's had, by the end of this mini bye week, some time to kind of get himself acclimated, get to know the playbook a little bit. Hopefully he's healthy. He's only 13 months removed from an Achilles tear. But one starting move here, you can give Brandon a try at safety, which he's played at earlier points in his career. This is a former college running back. I mean, the guy's a relatively, when you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, he is a sort of a late bloomer when it comes to what he's been asked to do in Baltimore. And so, if you give Tre'Davious an option there and you give Nate Wiggins maybe a longer leash, and what Marlon's going to be for you, he's playing at an all-pro level and really bounced back well. He's got 5 turnovers on the year, 4 interceptions. That's top 5 in the league. And then, of course, the forced fumble.
He arguably won both of those Bengals games for us.
Literally.
Yeah,
maybe not, maybe inarguably.
Yeah.
So So that's one area. And then let's get a look at the young guns. Let's get a look at your 7th rounder out of Purdue, Sanusi. And we all know the local ties for Bo, being that he's been undrafted out of Maryland. And I'm not saying that they're the answer, but man, at least go and make sure those boxes are checked, that you know what you have or don't have in those guys, because for the most part, you've just asked them to play special teams, and you've seen them flash a little bit. These are hard-hitting guys. They got good instincts, physical guys, both smaller end guys, but hey.
I heard a lot of hype about. I didn't follow the draft very closely this year, but I heard a lot of hype about TJ Tampa. Is he injured? He's been inactive every week. Is he injured, or is he just not playing up to hype?
I think TJ's on IR right now.
Oh,
yeah, I want to say TJ Tampa is on. Let's see. He was on IR. Let's see if that is the case still. Yeah, as of October 27th, TJ Tampa with an ankle. So that meant at least 4 weeks he'd be down. So tough start for TJ. He gets the double sports hernia procedure at the end of the summer, and that kind of screws up his acclimation period. And then he's kind of inactive to begin the year. And then in October, he just gets put on IR. So there you have it. I mean, at this point, his rookie season is all but over. It's crazy how that works. What's also disappointing along the lines of rookies is Adisa Isaac. Dude's been a healthy scratch at times this year.
Yeah.
Nobody's more disappointing than David Ajabo, don't get me wrong. But Adisa Isaac's right there as well. And you can't make him the most disappointing because he's a 3rd rounder and he's a rookie. And Penn State, they haven't had a whole lot of success in terms of developing guys out of Penn State so far in the Eric DeCosta regime. But that's an area that if they could just get him to contribute as a role player, that'd be a win. But they're not even activating the guy.
Yeah. And I would like to see more out of Tavius Robinson. They took him out on a 3rd down, I think a 3rd and long yesterday, and I was just screaming. I was like, leave him in, because he had like 2 sacks last week. I think the pass rush last night looked better. The problem is they were attacking more the edges, and nobody was there for when Burrow was stepping up, which is something that I think last year Mike had a better scheme for. We were playing a lot more stunts last year than I've been seeing this year. Yeah. And I think that kind of helped us out whenever they would step up in the pocket. Matabike or Queen or Rowe would be there. But we're just dropping out the linebackers, and they aren't even covering when they are dropping out.
But hey, certainly an encouraging step in the right direction yesterday with 40 pressures, several sacks of Burrow. Matabike really gets freed up when Travis Jones is getting pushed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, and because you mentioned Ajabo, I saw Ajabo out there a couple times, and him and Owe are the masters of almost sacking the quarterback. They are so fantastic at pushing upfield and then making them step up, and they just completely miss it.
Oh.
But at the very least, they're making the quarterback throw quick throws, which kind of helps the secondary since they're not back there covering for 5, 6, 7 seconds each. But
yep. Ajabo had a quarterback hit. Owe had 4 of them. Think about that. Not 1 sack, 4 quarterback hits. But he was bringing the pressure. He was bringing it early and often. Wes, enjoy your salmon, brother. Thanks for the call tonight, man.
See ya.
Talk soon. Justin, talk to me, dude. PA's finest. What's going on, dude?
What's up, Bobby? How you been, man? I jumped in a little late. I didn't see you were streaming. You get some sleep today?
I took a cat nap at like 4 o'clock, and I woke up to Tilly wailing at the window. She was going off. My sister was getting ready for a rehearsal dinner. Her boyfriend was walking around the halls. Mom's hanging. I mean, it's just kind of crazy right now. So yeah, I'm straight up mush. Sarah's probably somewhere doing all, weekend things, and I'm just sitting here hanging with you at 7:15 on a Friday night. Where the hell else would I rather be?
I hear you, man. Who's got it better than us, right?
What you thinking coming off this one?
No, I tried to get on last night, man, late on the post or the pregame. That's why I wanted to call. I'll talk about the game in a minute, but that Justin Pugh, I was trying to get on because I'm almost 100% sure I've worked with his father. His dad was like I think he drove concrete trucks, like a blue collar cat. And I was going to say, Justin, because I remember the dude jumped out of the truck with an all New York Giants hard hat. And I was like, you like the Giants? He's like, oh, my son's a lineman for the Giants, Pugh. And I was like, oh, shit, I'll look out for that because
no way.
The only thing I remember is, the Ravens whooping the Giants' ass in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I was like busting his butt about that. But and
Well,
also,
here, wait a second. Here, ready? I'll text him right now. What do you want me to ask?
is his dad do concrete? His dad was a concrete driver.
Okay, here we go.
Because like I said, I was tying a bridge, doing a rebar. You know what I mean? I'm an iron worker, so. And he came up and, like I said, he's like, my son plays for the Giants. I was like, oh, no, he don't, man. So
I just hit him up. I'll let you know what he says.
yeah, his dad's a blue collar dude. And if that's the case, man, that's like you pull for more people like that. He wasn't bad or nothing. He seemed like his dad was a good dude anyway. You know what I mean? Out there getting it. So
he was awesome, man. Justin was fantastic. I thought he was just, I want to have him on the show now to talk football again.
I like that he threw that young buck down on the ground. That was hilarious.
He buried that guy. That was hysterical.
No, but another thing, look, from the pregame, like I said, Osmodius might be the best man at your wedding, but I've been prophesizing every time in the live chat. I said, Bobby, get up at the Be More around town. There's ladies there. You're going to meet a lady there. Because when I met you, me and my brother was walking around drinking. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of ladies out here. You know what I mean? It just was meant to be. You know what I mean?
I guess so. We'll see what comes of it.
All right. Well, with football anyway, sorry to everybody in the live chat that had to listen to me ramble, but with football, I seen all this morning, all the pundits talking about, they should have threw the flag on Matabike, which I think it was a clear penalty. He smacked him in the head, and he got away with like 2 hands to the face. And then all that Gesicki punk flopping, and they didn't throw no flags. But what happened with the 4th and 10 on the last drive? The Bengals, that got replayed. They stopped and did the what do you call it? The AI assist or whatever. That dude was clearly short of the first down. His knee hit. They had to get to the 40, I think, to get the first down on 4th and 10. And they gave him gifted him the first down, and nobody's talking about that. Like that never happened. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. That went under review because it was under 2 minutes. Yeah.
Clearly,
I thought he had it.
No, clearly short.
It was right at the stick.
Come on, dog. There's no way he had that.
Yeah, I thought so.
No,
I thought he had that. There was nobody, but Justin, there was nobody that either in the review center or Al or Kirk. Like it was close. It was close, but I think he had that.
I don't think so. I think if someone had it, it was Stevens had that interception. I thought, yes. You know what I mean? How can you drag your feet? He had his foot down, 1 foot, other foot, touchdown. How is that not an interception?
Well, it would be really nice if this offseason they can make a brief adjustment so that 2 taps of the same foot down should count, right? Because that's what Brandon did. He had 2 taps of the same foot, but he didn't get 2 taps from 2 different feet. So that was the reasoning. But if a hip, shin, right, et cetera, counts, right, which they do.
Got 2 different feet in. Watch the replay. Don't show it again. I watched the game probably like 3 more times today for some odd reason because I'm sick. But I watched him. He touches his right foot down, and then it's sliding, and then his left foot touches. But they're saying that when his right foot, it slid out and hit the white chalk before the left foot came down.
I got it right here in front of me. So
both feet get down.
All right. So here, and actually, let's listen to the broadcast.
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, the pre-games are always live, man. You do it.
Wait, hold on. One sec. I just want to give you a final thought on this. Before the left foot gets down, the right foot is out of bounds, but he's still got
2 feet, two
of the same feet.
Watch it. You'll see his other foot comes down too.
Remember, what's required is 2 different feet down. He gets 2 taps of the same foot down. That should be the tweak this offseason from a rule adjustment standpoint. I got the review right in front of me.
I know it. Look, watch it. Watch both feet come down. His other foot comes down too.
Yeah, but no, the right foot's out of bounds though when the second one comes in.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It slid out.
No, anyway.
Well,
Brandon
look,
is
I'll let you go, Bobby. I don't want to hold up you for too much more time. But, dude, getting Rodney from the Terps, because the Terps are coming on at 8
oh
o'clock.
yeah,
Let's go Terps, baby. We're going to whoop Mount St. Mary's butt tonight. All right, go Terps.
big Rodney Elliott. That was fun, wasn't it? He was fired up. That was super cool. So
Yeah, 6'8", dude. That's a big boy, man.
all right, Justin, I appreciate you, man.
Be good. Peace, live, chat.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in. And I appreciate you guys all for hanging with me. Taz, I hate to do this to you, but I am on the run, brother. I've been going for over an hour. I'll just let you say hello real quick, but I got to jump, my
Oh
guy.
man, Bobby. Listen, I'm sorry. I just got in here with the wife, and I'm like, "Oh, Bobby's live. Let me hop on the show real quick." Well, let me just throw a quick one or two quick points out. One,
Hey, give me a for real though, because I'm late. Give me a 30 second. I gotta
yeah, I
go.
got you. My quick point was basically about I wanted everybody to remember. I said that our pass rush would get better once certain people got healthy. Well, after that game, I tried to tell y'all, and it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. It's the big dogs in the middle. As they get healthier, watch you see us start putting more pressure on quarterbacks, and you see the cornerbacks, not have to cover so long. But Marcus Williams, you got to do better, bro. We paying you too much. But Bobby, I'm gonna let you go, man. I'll catch y'all on the next show.
Taz, I'm sorry to cut you short. I'm just it's been an insane
All
day,
good.
and I'm just in I'm in zombie mode right now, brother. But hey, you were right. The pass rush call answered the bell for now. We'll see if that's sustainable. But moving forward, we know that level 2 and level 3 of that defense is the more important piece of the puzzle. It's got to be figured out. So I look forward to revisiting the conversation with you, man. Hope you have a great weekend.
You too, brother.
All right, Taz. Talk soon, man. The live chat is live tonight. Unfortunately, I really got to go, Chef. You're killing me. You guys are ridiculous. You know what? Look at this right here. You guys.
Please.
I mean,
please.
look, everybody wants to. It's like super chats at the end of my vault discussions with Sarah. You guys throw them in there because you want to get us to 90. I ain't getting to 90. You're always pushing us to 90. We ain't getting to 90. But what you got for me?
I got the 7-minute story to tell you now.
Yeah,
hey,
okay.
but I just want
Guy
to
at
tell
the
you,
end of the bar, my ass.
Listen, I was at that game. It was wild. I will say, Diontae Johnson. Just going back to him, he looked dejected on the sideline. Like after he leaned into the halftime, he kind of get tripped up and whatnot. I don't think he really had his number called for the rest of the game. So I mean, when you see Tylan Wallace ball out and Rashad Bateman catch some passes and stuff like that, and just like keep the offense going and rolling, he was just standing there, just dejected. Like I'm sure he'll buy in and have his number called eventually, and I know he's still learning the offense, but I don't know. That was just something that I just saw and noticed. And I was like, wow, that's kind of sucks. But is what it is.
It's strange. And again, to go back to earlier on, why leave it up for interpretation with a cryptic tweet that's since been deleted? It's just it's never going to end well. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
Chef,
trade deadline's over, so I mean, you stuck here. You better hope
right?
better hope we do well. So I mean, you can get some nice little ice on your finger, but
Exactly.
Is what it is.
Well, sorry to cut you short tonight, my man. I am running on empty, but I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy the football-less Sunday, at least Ravens football-less.
Hey, we got our dub. We got our dub.
Yes, sir. We'll catch up with you next week, man. Talk to you. Chef Trez spending some time with me, and I appreciate you guys doing the same on this Friday evening. Kyle Hamilton's good to go. The Ravens are 7-3 through 10 weeks. They got to figure out what's going on in levels 2 and 3 of their defense. They got more time, but this is who they certainly are through 10 weeks. November 17th, Steelers-Ravens, next game. Mini bye week coming up. Wedding weekend for me, not my wedding. Yeah, Madison and I are actually getting married. No. Wedding weekend in Baltimore County. Looking forward to that. Mom's birthday on Sunday. Hopefully you guys enjoy yours. Please like the video on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. If you're interested in donating, you can do so through Venmo, Cash App, the YouTube Super Chat feature. Thanks to all my Super Chat donors. Robbie Pate says, take Ray out of the booth and in the locker room. Stono31 says, do you think the defense can improve enough to be at least top 15 to 20? No. No. From what I've seen through 10 weeks, no. Dave One to Cycle says, is no one else outraged that EDC and Harbs have failed Lamar and this team with their lack of actions to trade for real defensive talent? I felt like it was underwhelming. It was absolutely underwhelming at the deadline. There's no question about that. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Thanks to all 8 of you who dropped in Super Chat donations. Tongsley, Deshaun, Bosif, Alan, Dave, Stono, Robbie. I'll catch up with you guys next week. Taz, I owe you. You know it. I know you're going to be holding me accountable on that one too. Later, guys. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll catch up soon.